What is up, Sham fam? Today we've got a great video for you all. So if you've ever been trying to figure out, man, how do these pro players in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone, how do these streamers get such high kill games? How do they keep their aim on people from long range, laser these people, headshots, chest shots only? Well, today we're going to go over that, give you some tips and tricks on how to improve your aim and how to start beaming like the pros. Now guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you're always up to date on the newest information for Warzone, Modern Warfare 2 when it comes to improving your skill. I do stream on Twitch about 2 to 3 times a week. We usually play Warzone, but a lot of times on the weekends we're with our Shamrock gaming family doing some multiplayer on Modern Warfare 2 as well. So be sure to stop by and show some love. Let me know you came from the YouTube channel. But without anything further, guys, let's jump straight into these settings so I can help you start beaming like a pro. All right, guys, for the first setting that we're going to talk about to help you get set up to start aiming like a pro and getting those high kill games. If you're on controller, this one's more for you. Obviously, keyboard and mouse, you don't have the same settings, but I will go over some settings that are for both controller and keyboard and mouse as the video continues, so stay put. So the first setting we're going to get into is your aim assist type for controller, as well as your response curve. So if you're on your controller settings, you want to go to advanced and check out your aim assist type. Now, I personally play on default. A lot of people at the start of Modern Warfare 2 were playing on Black Ops. However, if you're wanting to stay accurate at long distances with a controller, you're going to want to go ahead and switch back to default, as they have nerfed Black Ops aim assist type. So please, please, please hop off of Black Ops, go back to default. It'll help you hit your shots from longer ranges more accurately. In case you're wondering what each aim assist type does, just to give a brief summary, your default is going to be your standard traditional slowdown when you get close to a target. It's going to be a little sticky, but not crazy sticky. Your precision aim is for you guys that really don't want a whole lot of aim assist, are very accurate, and want the aim assist to only help once it's like in the center of your target already. You have no problems getting your aim to the target, but you have a little trouble when they start moving a lot and you want to keep it on them a little more so than, you know, having no aim assist. So it's for your very, very accurate players. The focusing aim assist type is a little different, and I recommend it for players that are brand new to Call of Duty or first-person shooters that may need a lot of help on the analog sticks. What focus aim assist is going to do is, as your aim approaches the target, it's going to slow down before it even gets to the target to kind of help you track them, and then you're going to have to do the extra adjustments to the actual player itself. But it keeps you stuck kind of on almost this halo line outside of the player. So as they run around, it's going to stick to them a lot heavier, but you're going to have to still adjust it to hit your shots. Now, the problem with focusing for good players is that it's too sticky. So with focusing aim assist, if you're trying to snap from one target to the next, or there's two players really close to each other, you're going to have a lot of problems trying to switch from target to target because it doesn't allow you to make those micro adjustments as easily as standard or default aim assist type will. So if you're a pretty, average or above average player, I would stay on default. Right now, guys, for controller players, after you've set your aim assist type, you're going to want to set your aim response curve type. Now, the most popular one and the strongest one right now is dynamic. There's a lot of controversy on how it could be too strong, but while it's still allowed and while it still works as currently engineered, I recommend go ahead and set it to dynamic. Basically, guys, the best way I can describe the difference between standard, linear, and dynamic is standard it isn't really going to help your aim assist a whole lot, if at any. Linear is going to feel really snappy and really fast, so you can lose your target if you're not used to controlling that sensitivity like it's second nature. I still like linear, especially for multiplayer over Warzone, but if you're going to be playing a lot of Warzone where you have these long range battles, mid-range battles, probably going to be the best bet to help increase your odds of winning all your battles combined with your aim assist type. Now, dynamic allows you to move your character and essentially increase your aim assist, but there's a lot of videos out there that different people like JGod have broken down the differences and why it's so strong or why it's so broken. So be sure to equip that while it still exists, especially if you're on a controller and you're trying to gain any advantage you can in Warzone. The next setting goes for mouse and controller as well. It's very important and has helped me progress as a player a lot, both in multiplayer and Warzone. So you want to stay under the advanced controls for controller, and you want to scroll down here to custom sensitivity per zoom. Now, to break down what this setting does, whether you have it turned off or on, it's going to give you this little bar that you can choose a value to change your ADS multiplier. So what that means, so I run 7.7 sensitivity. I have my sense multiplier set to 0.65. What that means is when I aim down my sights, my sensitivity will no longer be 7.7. When I aim down sights, my new sensitivity is going to be 7 times 0.65. Now when I aim down sights, my new sensitivity will be 4.55. So all the setting is doing is saying, hey, when I aim down my sights, I want my sensitivity to be slower so I can track my target more accurately. Now, some pro players like a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning they don't change this multiplier. They keep it set at 1 so that when they aim down sights, it's the same speed as when they're hip firing. I personally don't like that, and I found it helped me hit a lot more shots when I slowed down my ADS time. One way you can figure out if this needs to be changed is watch any clips of your gameplay. If you're struggling to keep your aim on the target while they're moving and you're making too many micro adjustments or, over adjusting for them, then you probably need to lower this just a little bit. Now, it took me a while to find my comfort zone. I personally, on low zoom scopes, anywhere up to about the 3 times, I like at 0.65 so that I have a very slow ADS time. But when I'm in those higher scopes, like, those 7 times, 8 times, 10 times, all those sniper scopes, they're really slow at 0.65. So I keep them at a 1 so that I can whip back and forth and try to quick scope if I need to, things of that nature. But this setting is imperative to master if you want to be able to compete against these better players in kill races or just want to get these high kill games. Now, I haven't forgot about you, mouse and keyboard players. You guys have the same exact thing. Obviously, you have your standard sensitivity, which is just going to be 1 bar instead of 2 because you don't have 2 analog sticks. But you have the ADS sense multiplier as well. Mine's very close to what it is on controller. It's 0.68. That's where I'm comfortable on mouse, but I also have a lot slower mouse sensitivity. So, find your comfort zone. It may take some testing. I definitely encourage you, if you're over correcting your shots or you're having to make too many micro adjustments, you might want to test lowering this a little at a time to see how accurate you can make your aim without, having to do 1,000 reps. This will get you a very good starter point to start being a better player. Now, guys, tip number 3 is really easy, and I'm sure you guys have all seen it if you ever played Warzone 1, even all the new Call of Duties, whether you're on console, PC, you've probably seen videos of it. So you want to go to your graphic settings, go over to view, and you have this field of view slider here. Now, usually I used to play on 120 in Warzone 1 and in Modern Warfare 19, but since they have changed the visual recoil a little bit on Warzone 2, I have dropped it down to 110 to try and help my shots be a little more accurate so I can see my enemy a little more clear. So essentially all this does is it adds more peripheral view for you to see your surroundings, but it makes everything in front of you a little smaller because it's essentially stretching the screen. So you can see the example they have here. So this is 60 FOV. You're not going to be able to see a whole lot around you, but your target's going to be even bigger because this square would be zoomed in. 80, 100, 120. So you can see a lot more, but now this target has gotten increasingly smaller the bigger your screen has become. So you want to find a comfort zone, especially now in Warzone 2 with more visual recoil and guns just kind of gyrating from side to side. If you're a controller player, I recommend you start at either 100 to 105, and I would go up until you find a comfortable spot where the target's big enough for you to keep your aim on them, but not so high that you have recoil that's really hard to control at long range. I personally don't advise using 120 FOV right now unless you're a veteran player and you just really enjoy that setting. It does offer some slight advantages, but if you want to hit your target more accurately and you've already had it jacked at 120, try bumping it down. Now, to go along with the FOV, you have the ADS field of view. I highly recommend setting it to affected if you have not yet. Affected, all it does is whatever your FOV is set to, say mine's 110, when I aim down sights, my field of view stays at 110. So I can still see 110 FOV around me, even aim down my sights. So I can still get all that information. I'm not blinded by anything. If you keep it on independent, when you aim down sight, it's going to zoom in and make your field of view a lot smaller because it's trying to focus your aim, which can be an advantage if you really struggle at hitting any shots. So affected is going to allow you to keep the information around you because it's not going to cut off any of your view. And it's also going to allow you to have a little bit less visual recoil because the gun's going to be a little bit smaller, or the model I should say, and the iron sights will be a little bit smaller and allow you to keep your aim on target more accurately. All right, guys, for the 4th tip, what we're going to talk about is your gun builds. Now, it sounds pretty obvious that you need to have good guns to win your battles. Okay, yeah, but you need to build the guns to match your playstyle. If you're not somebody that's going to get in a lot of close range battles, or you're not comfortable running and jumping and sprinting and being very aggro, then you need to build a gun that plays to your style and to your advantage. Now, me personally, I like to have one gun that's going to be very accurate from range, like my AR, my DMR, sniper, something like that. and one gun that's going to be very snappy for my close quarters where I can sprint around, jump around, and, you know, play like crazy. But that's okay if you don't play that way. Regardless, you need to figure out how to build guns to your advantage. So for instance, just as an example, I like using this Lockman 5.56. Now, a lot of people may say it's not necessarily in the meta, next to the TAC 56, all those things. But when you look at this build, I've built it for damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, and that's my main worry because I'm building this for accuracy at long range fights, medium range fights, and I plan to have an SMG or some secondary that's going to be my go-to in close range, fast moving situations. Now, if I want to play more quickly and buy an SMG or get in those close range battles a lot more often, then I'm, may go with the Fennec, I may go with the MP5 or the Lockman, just different things of that nature. But you need to keep in mind, I'm building this gun for my play style. Do I play slow? Do I like to hold angles? Do I like to get mixy and get in the middle of everything? Do I like to do a combination of things and kind of flex it? One feature that you can definitely use now to gain that advantage and test your weapons without having to go in game to test it each time is the new firing range. Now, a lot of people have seen this, but I'll show you an example. When I'm building my gun and I want to build it for a specific objective, I take it straight into the firing range and I test the weapon first. And I'm like, okay, does this feel comfortable from range? What is my objective? I don't really care how it feels from close range that much because this is my long range rifle. So I need to see, am I able to hit shots from long range with it? Now, you can easily just press start. You can change the loadout from here. You can go back, alter the settings on the gun again, tune it again, go straight back into the firing range and keep doing that. And you can do this while you're loading into a game as well. So I highly recommend doing this when you're testing your builds, but keep in mind, build it for your playstyle. Now, not only should you be building it for your playstyle, you need to understand how the gun's recoil works. So if I'm going to be using this gun in competitive gunfights, I need to know how to counter the recoil. So for instance, if it's going to be shooting straight up to the left, I need to know that on my analog stick, I need to be slightly pointing down to the right just to counter it. But it depends on your gun, right? So each gun's going to have different recoil patterns with different attachments, different tuning. So you need to find a gun that you're comfortable using, tweak the attachments until it feels comfortable, and you know how to counter the recoil and you know how to play with the gun in tactical situations. Now guys, for this fifth and final tip, there is one thing within the tuning that you need to be aware of, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen on TikTok or just watching their favorite streamer. When you're able to tune your gun, you can now tune scopes. And a lot of people have not been utilizing this feature, and it can be a detriment to you in long-range battles especially. When I go to tune my scope, you notice on the left-hand side there's flinch resistance, ADS speed, and on the bottom there's this thing called close and far. Now, I'm not so much talking about the flinch resistance and ADS speed. You can build that to your liking or what's comfortable on your gun like we mentioned earlier. But we want to look at this bottom close and far bar. So the close and far is how close your eye is to the scope. Now keep in mind your field of view is going to come into play. Your setting for affected or independent when you ADS is going to come into play. But this close and far setting is kind of cool, right? So I'll give you an example with this red dot that I like to use on my RPK from time to time. So we'll set it to far just to take a look at it in the range first. I have 110 FOV on affected ADS settings, so I'm going to be a little zoomed out and keep my same 110 FOV. So keep that in mind. It may look a little different for you depending on your settings. So when I aim down sight, you can see how close I am to the red dot, right? Now we're going to adjust it back to close. We're going to go back into the range. And you can see it's a lot more zoomed in now. So if you want to be closer up on your optic, some people may think you get a better, position or it's more accurate being close. I guess it's up for debate. I like usually keeping a smaller reticle, but especially with the new recoil changes and how hard it is to hit shots from range, you may experiment with being closer to the scope and really liking it. It may be a little easier to hit those long range shots. We can even take a look with these 4x scopes, right? So the VLK, the Forge Tac Delta, they're very popular. So this is going to be close. Not terrible. So now let's try far away and see how it looks and how it feels. Right back into testing range. You can see we're a lot, further away from it. Kind of gets away from us when that initial kick goes right a little bit. So that's just a comfort thing. I haven't seen a whole lot of people utilizing it to try and, you know, help their accuracy. So depending on your settings, your build, your scope preferences, it should help you hit more shots at range, especially just be more comfortable with your gun in general. Now that's all for this video, guys. We will of course be bringing more tips, tricks, and coaching videos to you. Now guys, as always, I gotta put out a plug for my org, shamrockgaming.net. Head over to the website, copy some merchandise. There's some really cool hoodies, t-shirts, hats. Get you something for Christmas, get you something for the wife and kids. Show some love to the Shamrock Gaming community. Guys, if you're also looking for a way to focus when you're playing your games, or you just need a little pick-me-up, check the link down below for drink poggers, and be sure to use our discount code SHAM for 10% off each purchase. Now, as always, let me know if you guys have any questions or you want to see anything specific in these videos down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for all the updated Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 tips and tricks. Don't forget, we do stream 2 to 3 times a week, so head over to Twitch, show me some love, tune in when we go live, and let me know you came from YouTube, and let's talk some Call of Duty. But until next time, guys, I'm out.